Thank you, thank you, thank you. And once again, happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers in the house and online. Happy Mother's Day. So all year long, we have been dealing with oneness, and our theme for the month is acceptance. And so I'd like to start with a few spiritual principles, also known as What We Believe, written by Ernest Holmes some 100 years ago. You can get a copy of this by going online and doing a search for What We Believe by Ernest Holmes, or you can download on the QR code that's in the back of your chair to get onto our mailing list. Also, you can get a copy there. This morning, we're working with spiritual principle number 1, and simply it says, we believe in God, the living spirit, almighty one, indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. We do believe that this one manifests itself in and through all creation, yet it does not get in the way of its creation. Spiritual principle number 8, we believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. Spiritual principle number 9, we believe in the control of conditions in our own life through the power of our mind. Spiritual principle number 10, we believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. So, acceptance is what we are working with this month. And as I was thinking about Mother's Day and all the things that mothers represent to us in our lives, certainly all the good things, love and caring and generosity and support and on and on and on and on, I was also struck in remembrance by just how the women in my life, they also seem to have this kind of undergirding sense of longing. And the truth is that this longing belongs to all of us. If we would be honest with ourselves, sometimes we might find that we too are longing. But in this teaching, we say that there is no God to pray to. We say that everything has already been given. There is nothing being withheld. There is nothing to withhold. And if this is true, if it's truly what we believe, then what are we longing for? Nothing is being withheld from us. If there was something being withheld from us, there'd have to be somebody withholding it. Listen, these ideas and these concepts, they're no small thing. Wrapping your head around these ideas, these simple ideas, is transforming. Listen, trying to get yourself to come to understand that there is not two people, that there's not the father and the son, that there's not the mother and the daughter. Just getting your head around that, it's no small thing. It's not two people, it's one. Coming to understand that there is not two minds, but that there's only one mind, is another level of mastery, if you can get it. Just coming to understand that the idea that we might have believed that some people get while other people don't get. That there is somebody making an assessment and making a determination that you get and they don't. Wrapping your head around that is no small thing. That is the practice that we all must be engaged in. Thus, as our theme says, oneness, a day at a time. Our practice must be daily. Right? I think that, in the Lord's Prayer they got it right. Give us give us this day our daily bread. It's daily. So, in our pursuit of oneness, that is to rise above and to overcome our sense of separation, acceptance is necessary. And our theme for the month is acceptance. Acceptance is not giving in. Acceptance is not a waving of the white flag. We're not talking about acceptance in that way. Acceptance doesn't mean, however, that we are to do nothing. It doesn't mean that. Let us consider then today that acceptance is our invitation to move from longing to living. Acceptance, our invitation to move from longing to living. Longing for someone, longing for something. Longing, can lead to chasing if you long enough. You know what I mean? It can lead to chasing. Longing is our desire to say we have a thing. And we all know that just because you have a thing or you can name a thing does not mean that you have the thing. You know what I mean? This couple I know had been together for 35 years. They had never been married. And let me just say, it wouldn't be the ideal relationship if you could peer into their relationship for these past 30 or 35 years. But suddenly they decided that they were going to get married because something happened in their life that gave way for them to be married. As if getting married and saying that I have a husband would suddenly make things different. Right? Just because you have the money does not mean you are happy. Okay? So, just because you have a thing does not mean you have the thing. And these simple ideas, that's what makes this teaching so challenging. And it's what makes this teaching so rewarding. It's challenging because we've got to be honest with ourselves. And it's rewarding because we get to see exactly what is in front of us and make a conscious and an intentional decision. But they go together. You know what I mean? Like you can't skip over the challenging pieces of it. We've got to be honest with ourselves. We've got to be honest with ourselves in this, in our pursuit of oneness. We've got to practice daily, right? And answer the question, am I longing or am I living? Am I focused on what's missing or am I focused on what I have? Am I chasing the thing or am I being the thing? We got to ask ourselves these questions because our longing comes from a lack of discernment and relying on our limited perspective, our limited perceptions. Our longing comes from that place. In Wayne Dyer's book, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, which is a book of where he has reinterpreted the Tao, which is ancient text that offers a way of living. And on page 170, 72, and 73, verse number 35, here's what Lao-Tzu and Wayne Dyer's interpretation of this verse is. So the 35th verse is living beyond worldly pleasures. And the verse reads like this: all men will come to him who keeps to the one. They flock to him and receive no harm. For in him they find peace, security, and happiness. Music and dining are passing pleasures, yet they cause people to stop. How bland and insipid are the things of this world when one compares them to the Tao, when one compares them to living. When you look for it, there's nothing to see. When you listen for it, there's nothing to hear. When you use it, it cannot be exhausted. The text: you know that you can't find, hear, see, or touch the source, yet it is always available and can never be depleted. The music that you hear isn't the Tao. The Tao is the invisible energy that fills the empty spaces that give you so much joy. And that happiness you feel is the eternally available and longed for pleasure of transcending the physical limitations of a human body. Touching the Tao is way beyond any of the sensory pleasures that we somehow believe will satisfy that longing for transcendence. In it, they call that, or this type of living, eternal bliss. He goes on to say that we are to stop equating sensory delight with the Tao-inspired bliss that's available to you. Enjoy all that you experience through your senses. Love your fine dining. Bask in the melodies of your favorite music. And be appreciative of the excitement of sexual energy. But notice that this is all coming from your sensory self, which is happily adaptable to the world. Then, he says, seek your real self. Seek your Tao self, which transcends the physical, and explore its pleasures. And explore its pleasures. Eternal bliss. I mean, come on, think about that. Eternal bliss. I mean, have you ever stopped to think about it? It's eternal bliss. Nothing to long for. So, we accept what we see, and we accept what we hear, and we call it the gospel. I see it, it must be true. I hear it, it must be true. But listen, this type of truth ain't never set nobody free. The thing that you think you see, that you calling gospel, it ain't set you free. More than likely, it's bound you up a little bit more. Because you can only see it from your limited perspective, your limited perception. The Tao is saying, move beyond that. Move beyond the sweet, sweet cake, Sandy. Move beyond sipping of the fine wine, Kamara. You know what I mean? Taste what's within. Bask in its eternal bliss. We must be discerning, though, because discerning in what we let in. And discernment starts on the inside. It's difficult to be discerning on the outside if you first have not been discerning on the inside. In fact, you can't discern properly, correctly. There can be no right seeing on the outside if there's no right hearing on the inside. It can't happen. You see something, but you don't know nothing. you see what I'm saying? You see it, and you call it something, but you don't know nothing. You just seeing something and calling it something. That's it. Let us just call that longing. You see something, but you don't know anything. Let us just call that watching. Let us call that waiting. Our invitation is to move from longing to living. Listen, are you watching life go by? Are you waiting while life passes you by? Or are you living? We got to do something about this longing. It's your choice, and it's mine. But the way through it is to be discerning, and discernment starts on the inside. Matter of fact, tell your neighbor, discernment starts on the inside. Discernment starts on the inside. Joel Goldsmith, in his book, Living the Infinite Way, on pages 60 and 61, he says this. He says, spiritual experience can come only through your own realization. I can tell you only this. If you, without prejudice or opinion, without a theory or concept of what God is, can realize, quote, God is, that I know, and dwell with that and ponder it, keeping your thought in that line, from out of the depths of your consciousness within will come the experience revealing what God is and how God operates and acts throughout this marvelous universe. This will be through spiritual discernment, and this will not come merely by agreeing with what others have said or written about God. It's not going to come from what I say about God. This is something you got to do for yourself, he says. This will be through spiritual discernment, and this will not come merely by agreeing with what others have said or written about God. Spiritual discernment will come with every God experience, and you can have a God experience only through knowing the truth. And what is this, and what is the only truth that you know? God is. That is all the spiritual wisdom you know or will know until God reveals more from within your own being. Let me see here if we can simplify. You know the song that we used to sing? Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Right? We're changing it to God is. This I know. God is. This I know. God is. This I know. If that's not the truth you know, then what do you know? That's it. Do you know it? Know it beyond just being able to speak the words. You can't truly see what's out there if you don't know what's in here. God is, this I know. A lack of discernment leads us to chasing. A lack of discernment leads us to longing. And we've got to be able to make the distinction between what we see and what we know. We've got to be able to make the distinction between what we hear and what we know. God is, this I know. All the ancient texts tells us so. God is. What do you know? And what you know and what you see, two different things. What you know and what you hear, two different things. It is the truth that you know that will set you free. Thank God they ain't say it's the truth that you got to prove that'll set you free. The text says it is the truth that you know. God is. This I know. It's the truth that you know that will set you free. Not my truth, not Reverend Sheila's truth, Not Jesus' truth, not Lao Tzu's truth, but your truth. What do you know? God is. This I know. Do I know that there is nothing being withheld? Do you know that? No. Do you know that? Do you know that there is no one who can come between you and your good? Do you know that? Do you know it? Do you know that there is not one person who can withhold or get in the way of it? Oh, you think they in your way? That's called longing. That's called waiting. That's called watching. That's not living. What do you know? Do you know of the eternal goodness that the principles speak about? I mean, come on. Eternal goodness. Do you know of the infinite givingness of life to all, that everything has already been given to all? Do you know that? Because if you don't know it, you're longing for it. Those of us who know it are living it. Do you know that all the love that there is already available to us? It's already been given? Are you waiting on love, or are you living in it? Are you waiting on abundance? Are you living from it? God is. This I know. You know, there is something to be said about living, moving from a state of longing. There is the Science of Mind textbook, and there is living the Science of Mind. There is the Tao Te Ching, which offers us a way of living. There's the ancient text that offers us instructions to live by. But you have got to come up with your own definition of what living is. You got instructions. You got a way. Now define it. Is it the sweet cake? Is that all living is? You know what I mean? Is it the warm body? Ain't nothing wrong with warm bodies, but is that all there is? Is it a lot of money in a bank account? But is that all there is? The Tao says, no. You know nothing of this eternal bliss that is available to you. This made me realize there's more living on the inside to do than there is on the outside. There's way more living to be done on the inside than there is on the outside. Are you longing or are you living? Are you making time for what's on the inside? Let us notice this eternal bliss. Do you know this daily? Are you experiencing it in any way in your life on a daily basis? Eternal bliss? You mean right here and right now? Right here and right now? Yes, right here and right now. You know what I'm saying? This spiritual stuff, it might not be so exciting though. You know what I mean? Eternal bliss. Well, go meditate. Go pray. You be like, no, I'm going to have me some wine and some cheese and some cake and some fried chicken. I'm going to take a nap. No. Okay, it might not be that exciting, people, but it's the only thing that can and will satisfy your longing. The only thing that can satisfy. God is. This I know. Are you living or are you simply longing? Are you simply waiting? Are you simply watching? Come on, practitioners. Join me as we just get ourselves prepared to get anchored in the word for the day. Join me in realizing right here, right now, there's only one. There is not two. There's one mind. There's one presence. There's one essence. There is only one. There is not the Father and there is only one. There is not the Mother and there is only one. Let us come together in this great realization, understanding and coming to know that we are one with it, that we can never be separate and apart from the one, that the seemingly two really is one. Let us be so convicted in our desire to live that we come to know that we know that we know that there is only one. And in this one, I affirm and know for you as I affirm and know for myself a great desire to be fulfilled in this oneness through the acceptance of the things that we know, the truth that we know. Let me affirm for you as I affirm for myself that God is. This I know. Let me affirm for you as I affirm for myself the truth that the fulfillment of this eternal bliss that is dependent upon my desire and my willingness to define what living means to me. So I know for me as I know for you that from this day forward, that no one gets to provide a definition of living that is not complete. Let us declare and decree today that we come up with our own definitions of living, and in it is what we know. God is. Everything has already been given. Nothing is being withheld. There's no one who can get in your way. There's no one who can withhold anything from you. Let us affirm and know that all the love that there is always available to us. All the infinite insight and revelation that there is always available to us. That a way out of no way is always available to us. A way for us to be so grounded in what we know to be true is always available to us. Let us declare and decree that God is. This we know. And know that everything else will be added unto it. God is. This I know. So I give thanks this day as we come to this point and this great realization that we don't have to just live from a space of longing, but we can be so bold as to live so fully and completely, declaring and decreeing, taking and receiving all that has already been given. That there's room enough for the wine and God. There's room enough for the cake and God. There's room enough for the money and God. It's the only way that we come to truly live. So I give thanks for this great realization in my life and in your life. And I know for you, as I know for myself, that I'm being moved from within to make the choice daily from the bread that I receive daily to live. I'm grateful that I'm not longing. I'm grateful that I'm choosing to live by my definition of what living is. I live in the eternal bliss. Life is good for me. All my needs are met. I am grateful. Let us be so moved in to just come together as we gather these words, the songs that have been sung, the hugs, the eye, the glimmering of the eye, the love that is in this place. Let us bring it all into our storehouse as we go forward today. Let us just then simply turn it over into the law of mind that is one, knowing that it accepts our word regardless of color, creed, sex, orientation, how much money you got in the bank, how much education you have. It doesn't care. Let us know now that our word is the word, and that the law has already said yes. Love is saying yes now. It is. Because God is, and this I know. We let our words go, we let them be, and we come together in agreement by saying, and so it is. As we journey on throughout our week, let us be discerning so that we too might experience this eternal bliss and move from longing to living. And so it is.